Hi everyone, this is Sunny from Database Tech. So today I had come up with one more new session on SQL Server Database. In today's session, I will explain what are temporary tables. So we have different types of temporary tables, which are local temporary table and global temporary table. Now first let's understand what is local temporary table. Local temporary table are prefixed with single pound sign. Let's understand this practically in SQL Server, and for that let's open SQL Server first. So what is the syntax to create a local temporary table? Create table pound sign test123. So I had given the name as test123, but you can give any meaningful name which depends on the requirement. Next we'll define some variables, and let's do that. id int, because we are going to store integer values in the id, so I had given the data type as int. Name varchar 20, because we are going to store character values in the name, so I had given the data type as varchar. Next we have to execute this query, and how to execute it? Select it and click on execute. In the message below you can see command completed successfully, which means our local temporary table test123 has been created. And now if you want to check this table, then where can you find this? Because normally what happens, like with the normal table, if we create the table without this pound sign, that is a normal table, simple table that we have created in our previous sessions. So that gets created in the database, which is selected here in the drop down. Let me show you that as well first. What we will do, copy this and paste it here, and we'll remove the pound sign. So what database is selected here? It is test. And now when we execute this, it will get stored in the test database. Let's try that. Execute. Command completed successfully. It has been created, and if you want to check this table, what you have to do, go to the Object Explorer from the left side. First refresh this so that the change will reflect. So this is our test database. Expand tables. Here it is, test123. So it has been created, but then test is selected here. But when we executed this one, the local temporary table, we cannot find this here. Why? Because local temporary table gets created in tempdb. And where is that tempdb? Let me show you that. So temporary table gets stored in tempdb, so we have to find that. So that you can find in expand the databases, then system databases. Here we have master, model, msdb and tempdb. So here it is where the temporary table gets stored. Expand this also, and here you will find temporary tables. First you have to refresh this so that the change will reflect, and now here it is, pound sign test123, which means our temporary table gets stored in tempdb only. You will not find these anywhere in other database. Whatever the database is selected here, still it will get stored in our tempdb database. So that is the difference between these two tables, a temporary table and a normal table. Now there are other differences also. Let's understand that also. When we create this one, the normal table, it gets stored in the test database and it will be there forever. It will not get removed, deleted, it will not get modified, nothing. It will be there unless and until you will not delete this, you will not remove the database, you will not remove this table. It will be there. But the local temporary table, the temporary tables gets removed automatically when they are no longer used. Temporary table gets created in tempdb, which we have seen. They get automatically deleted when they are no longer used. Let's understand this practically, what it means. So this is session number 1. Now you will be thinking like, why I am saying this is session number 1. You can give a name as session 1. So its scope is only in this session. The scope of this table, temporary table, is only in this session. It will not work in other session. What session means is this is session number 1, and if you want to open some other session, what you can do, click on new query. So this is session number 2. So these are sessions. If you want to open another session, you can again click on new query. So these are the sessions, or you can say a connection. So the scope of this local temporary table test123 is only in this session number 1. It will not work in other sessions. Let's check this practically. And what query we use to fetch the data from a table? Select query. Select star from test123. Now when we execute this, it will work because its scope is only in this session number 1. But don't get confused because there is no data in this table. We had not inserted any data. So that's why you can see the column header. But if you want to insert some data, let's do that also, so that you will not get confused. Insert into test123 values 1 India. So we'll now execute this query. Let's do that. One row affected, and if you check the data again, you will find the data in this local temporary table. But when we try to execute this in session number 2, will it work? It will not. It's saying invalid object name test123 because, as I said, its scope is only in this session number 1. It will not work anywhere else. And when you close this session, it will not work either. So right now you will find this table here in this temporary table. But when you close session number 1, let's do that. We are closing this session. Now you will find only session number 2, no session number 1. And we had created this local temporary table in which session? Session number 1. Now when you again will refresh here in the Object Explorer, will you find this table? No, it is gone. Now there is no table in temporary table from the Object Explorer. It is gone. So that's why it is saying it gets automatically deleted when they are no longer used and the session is closed. So this is how local temporary table work. Local temporary tables are available only for the connection that has created the table. This we have seen already. When we close the session, it is gone. Its scope is gone. Gets dropped automatically when connection is closed, that we have seen. We can drop temporary tables using drop command. So we can drop them using drop command also. Let's see that. Now first we will try to, so we had deleted the session. What we do, we'll create temporary table again. Create table # test123, and then we'll define some variables. ID int will only define one variable. Command completed successfully. So this is created. Now when we try to again refresh it, you will find test123 is coming again. So we'll now drop this manually. Drop table # test123. Earlier we removed this by closing this session, but now we are dropping this manually. We are removing this manually using drop command. Command completed successfully. Now when we try to refresh it, it is gone. You will not find this table more. It is possible to create local temporary table with same name. Now what does this mean? Let's understand this. So here we had created a temporary table name as test123. So let's create this because we had removed this. We are creating this again. So what is the name of the temporary table? It is test123. Refresh this here. You will find test123 here in the temporary tables from Object Explorer. Let's open one more session. So this is session number 2. Let's give a name as session 1 so that you will not get confused. New query will give the name as session 2. Copy this and paste it here in session number 2. Now when we create this again, will it work? Will there be the duplicacy? Because we have seen in our previous session with the normal table, we cannot create the table with same name again and again. But here, is it possible? Let's see that. Execute this. Command complete successfully. It is working. Although we had created this test 1, 2, 3 in our session 1, but still we are able to create this again with the same name. Then how it is working? Let's refresh this. Now we can find out test 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3, how they are working. Why? Let me show you. If you move this mouse here, you will find there is some unique identifier, there is some digits that are getting appended with the name. It is 0036, and for the second table that we created, it is 0037. With this unique identifier, because they are different, we are able to create the table with same names. Because internally what's happening with the local temporary table, they are getting created with different unique identifiers. So that's why it is possible to create same name tables here. So we can create table with same name. It's possible to create local temporary table with same name, which we have seen, because the unique identifiers are getting appended to every table, although if we are creating with same name. So that's why it is working. So that is local temporary table. Let's move now to global temporary table. Global temporary tables are prefixed with 2 pound sign. Earlier we have seen the local temporary table with single pound sign, but global temporary tables are prefixed with 2 pound sign. Let's do this. Let's create the global temporary table. Let's create one more session. Create table test 1, 2, 3, and we'll define some variable. Let's not waste time and define only single variable. And let's create this. Select it and click on execute. Command completed successfully. So we have created a global temporary table. The difference is here we have 2 pound signs. And where can we check this? Refresh this. So here it is our global temporary table. It gets stored in the same tempdb, because all the temporary tables are getting stored in tempdb only. So if you want to view them, you can check, you can find them in tempdb database. So here it is. So we have seen how to create global temporary table. So now next it is saying global temporary tables are visible to all the connections, destroyed only when the last connection is closed. Now what does that mean? Let's understand this. So in local temporary table we have seen they were working only in the same session. Let's give it a name as session 1, and we will close all the remaining sessions. Close all. So now we have only one session. So we have created this. Now let's create one more session, and we'll create. And how to fetch the data? Select star from pound sign, multiple pound sign, and we were able to execute this, and we are getting the data. Let's insert the data. Insert into values 1. Now we'll again check the data. Okay, sorry, we have executed multiple statements. So now you can see the data, and it is working in this session number 1, because we had created this global temporary table in session 1. So we are able to fetch this, that we had already seen, that we have seen in local temporary table also where it was single pound sign. But when we will try to execute this in another session, will it work? Session number 2. Because in local temporary table with a single pound sign, we are not able to do so. We were not able to fetch the data in another session because their session was only in that where it has been created. But will it work here? The global temporary table? Yes, it will work. So that is the difference between the local temporary table and the global temporary table. Global temporary table works in any session which you have seen. If you open one more session, it will work there also because they are global. They work in every session wherever it is. Now, when the scope is gone, let's see that. In the next point, it is saying it is destroyed only when the last connection is closed. Now, what does this mean? It means when you destroy all the sessions, all the connections, then only scope is gone. Right now, you can find out this. There is a global temporary table, test 1, 2, 3 with a double pound sign. Now, when you close this, all the sessions, close this also, and close this also. Now we have closed all the sessions. And when we try to again refresh this, you will not find this global temporary table. That is here it is saying it's destroyed only when the last connection is gone, which means when we close all the sessions, scope is gone and you will not find this global temporary table. Global temporary tables must be unique, cannot have multiple global temporary table with the same name, which we have seen for the local temporary table. When we create, let's do this practically. Create table test 1, 2, 3. Define some variable id int. So let's create this. Execute it, select it, and command completed successfully. It has been created. And to check this, what we do, you will find this table here. Now it is saying global temporary table must be unique and cannot have multiple global temporary table with the same name, which means if you try to execute this, if you try to create this one more time in some another session, it will not work. We will not be able to create global temporary tables multiple times with the same name. That was possible for local temporary tables because the unique identifier was getting appended in that. But here it's not like that. Let's do this. So there is already an object name this, because for the global temporary table it will not work because their scope is in all the sessions, and it will for global temporary tables you cannot create the same table with multiple times. But in local temporary table it was possible. So that is the difference also between the local temporary table and the global temporary table. So that was it for today's session. I hope you have understood local temporary table and a global temporary table. We'll come up with the next session shortly. Till then, have a nice day. Bye bye. Take care. Be healthy, be safe, and more important, love your family. Bye bye.